Setup of advanced billing terms and billing rules. In this section, you're going to see how we can set up some advanced billing terms on time and material and fixed price projects. In the case of time and material, we'll oftentimes see the need to set up some not to exceed limits on contracts and maybe flag certain categories as non-chargeable categories. So let's see how we can set up some of these billing terms on time and material projects. For this, let's create a new project contract. We will call this a shopping site implementation contract. We will select a customer. I will select the second one, Alpine Ski House. We're implementing a shopping site for them. Let's get this contract created. As we saw in the last section, the invoice frequency, sales tax group, and sales currency is already set. At this point, if we have to set up a billing rule that says that certain categories on this project are chargeable while other categories are not, you will have to first create a project for this contract engagement. We will call this shopping site project. Assign it a project group. And since I initiated this project from the contract details page, the contract and the customer are set for me. The start date defaults to today's date. Let's create this project, set this project to in process stage. We get the warning about a budget not being set up, but we will hit OK on that. And let's now set up a billing rule for this contract engagement. This is a time and material contract because it has a time and material project associated to it. Let's create a time and material billing rule. And a time and material billing rule allows us to associate a project to the billing rule. We will associate a project to this time and material billing rule. And here we can set up which categories on this project are chargeable and which are not. If we say that consulting and design categories are chargeable, we will add those categories to this list of chargeable categories on the project that has been associated to this billing rule. So this is how we would set up the chargeable categories list for your time and material contractual engagements. You will be able to select the chargeable categories on the billing rule setup so that those categories will be invoiceable. All other categories that are not in the list will not be invoiceable. As the next advanced billing term setup, let us see how we can set up a not to exceed term for the project contract. If the customer, Alpine Ski House, has said that they do not want this contractual engagement to exceed $150,000, then on the contract details page, expand the FAST tab, the third FAST tab, funding sources, where you will see that Alpine Ski House is a funding source on this project contract. And on the fourth tab for funding limits, create a funding limit, associate the limit to your customer Alpine Ski House, and specify the amount by which you do not want the project cost to exceed. And let's close this project contract. So this is how you can set up a project contract with a not to exceed funding limit and set up a few categories as chargeable categories on your project contract. These are time and materials advanced billing terms. If your project is of type fixed price, or if your contract has a fixed price component to it, as I had mentioned in the previous section, fixed price billing rules allow you to set up billing based on a schedule of completed milestones or based on progress or units delivered. Let us see all the three flavors of fixed price invoicing setup. If our shopping site implementation engagement has a fixed price component for the design of the project, let's create a fixed price project. We will call this design of shopping site. We will associate it with a project group. We will mark the project as in process. And now we will create a billing rule that is based on milestones. So let's see the first variant of fixed price invoicing setup. The first variant is where you negotiate a milestone based billing setup for your fixed price project. For a milestone based, in order to set up a milestone based schedule for your invoicing, you can create the milestones of, say, dev design. You can create your milestones here in the billing rule setup on the contract. Let's create the first milestone, which may be dev design, and we will say this is of value $10,000. We will create the second milestone, UI design. We'll give it a value of 15,000, and we associate it with the project, the only fixed price project of design. Notice that when I created a milestone billing rule on this contract, it automatically gives me only the fixed price projects that are associated with this contract. It does not show me the other time and material project that we created. It shows me the fixed price project design of shopping site only, because milestone billing rule is only applicable for fixed price projects. So we have created a milestone billing rule. As I created my milestones, the contract value is updated against this billing rule. We will now see how a variant of fixed price invoicing, a second variant which is progress based. Let's create a new milestone. We will call this progress, and let's say this is also associated to our fixed price project of design, and we will give it a contract value. On this one, we can just type in the contract value. Let's give it a contract value of $15,000. And this particular billing rule is for the design of the database, which we are saying that we'll build the contract, we'll build that portion of the work on a fixed price value of $15,000. This is the setup that we are required to create for for setting up a progress-based invoice schedule. As a third variant of fixed price invoicing, let us say we have to deliver some training sessions. This variant of fixed price invoicing is a unit-based, a delivery-based schedule for invoicing. Let's create a new billing rule. We will call it unit of delivery billing rule. We'll call this training sessions. Unit is each. Quantity, we will give 3 training sessions at a price of $1,500 per session, and that gives us the contract value, and we associate it to our fixed price of project. And this is how you can set up a unit of delivery based billing rule for your projects. Let's close this out. So now our contract for shopping site implementation has a time and material component with a not to exceed limit. It has 3 fixed price components. It has a milestone based component, progress based fixed price component, and a unit of delivery based fixed price component. So once your the work starts on each of these projects, the time and material one and the fixed price one, the shopping site implementation and the design. Once work starts on these, you can manage your contract status and your invoicing by using the manage contract status form, on which you can specify the progress of your the progress based billing rule, the units delivered on your training sessions, and in the case of milestones, you can update milestone status. Updating the status will then trigger invoicing on each of these billing schedules. So you have seen the setup of advanced billing terms on time and material projects by setting up the chargeable categories and the funding limits. And you have also seen the setup of fixed price invoicing schedules using billing rules, milestone progress, and unit of delivery. Let's review the concepts. Billing rules. The billing rules is a framework for defining invoicing schedule for fixed price projects. And in the case of time and material contracts, this allows us to specify chargeable categories. Let's look at the different billing schedules possible for fixed price projects. You can set up a billing rule with a progress type of invoicing schedule. Work progress must be manually updated in order for invoicing to pick up the amount to invoice in this schedule of invoicing. The second variant we saw was milestone-based billing schedule. Your project, the work that you do on the project is divided into milestones, and each milestone is then given a certain monetary value, and once the milestone is done, you can bill that milestone. Unit of delivery based billing schedule. You set up your billing rule and mention the number of units you're going to deliver and the value of each unit, and then as you deliver the units, you initiate the billing of this. This is the unit of delivery billing schedule. All the three concepts are applicable to fixed price projects. In the case of time and material billing rule, it's a billing rule that enables billing based on actual consumption, but then you can also set up chargeable categories. The setup of chargeable categories is very similar to the line property setup for categories. Fee billing rule. This billing rule allows for setup of an add-on fee on your contract bills. Any invoice that you generate can take a flat rate, a percentage rate of the invoice amount, and fee billing rules are applicable for time and material billing rules, can be added on top of time and material billing rules. Funding limits. We also saw how we can set up a not to exceed amount for time and material contracts, and not to exceeds can be set up for a project, activity, category, or a worker. We set it up in our demo, we set it up for a customer, so the customer's exposure on this contract engagement cannot exceed a certain value. And consumption against that not to exceed can be tracked at every level that the not to exceed is set up.